Well, after months of us being locked in the house and the rest of the world going back to pubs and restaurants and stuff this weekend, we thought it would be the perfect opportunity for us to get out in the woods and just have a little bit of a wander around. It is mega busy here. The car park here was actually closed throughout a lot of lockdown, so I guess this is one of those places that has, although the woods themselves were never closed, they were harder to visit, but it is mega busy here today, so we're making sure we do our full-on social distancing rules stuff, but it gets Andy out of the house, and as he's still not going to school at the moment, he isn't getting out of the house very much. In fact, I don't think he's been out of the house since we went to Nottingham, and that was over a week ago now. So getting him out, getting Dave out somewhere a little bit different as well, and having a lovely day out and about in the sunshine.
Anyway.
Where are you going? I'm not 100% sure if we were playing or I was annoying him there, but he smiled afterwards, so I think it was okay. I nearly fell over. And yes, despite the barbers opening again yesterday, I have cut my own hair again. What do we think? Getting better at it. Apparently I've missed a bit behind my ear. It's better than having to make an appointment to go to the barbers. I'm not organised enough to make an appointment for a haircut. I don't know how women do it.
Finish. I know it's going to pull. What's on it? Finish. Dave. I got it then? Oh, Dad's not there now. He's got safety. You got it? Thank you.
We had a visit with his social worker the other day. The first time she's actually visited since before lockdown started. We talked about lots of stuff, as you can imagine, but two things in particular worthy of note. One, we all agreed we're not even going to try and get him back to school until September. Until school is back to normal, it's off the agenda, so no school, which he's very happy about. But every time we mention September, he panics. And the other thing we talked about is how difficult it is to get him out of the house.
Well, if you go whichever way you want, really. Let's move that way, look at people first.
Social distancing is hard when it's this busy. So the other thing we talked about is how difficult it is to get him out of the house, because he doesn't like to just go out for the sake of going out. So when lockdown first started, he was on board with coming on little exercise walks with us. Well, you remember us walking out on that field and doing all that kind of stuff. He is not up for that anymore now, unless we're going somewhere. He doesn't want to go out, so hence he's been trapped in the house for it's about 10 days at this point, which is why the idea to come here came up. And we kind of agreed again with the social worker that we'll try and come up with reasons to get him out, but we don't want to do that at the expense of risking exposure to the pandemic. So we've got to try and find places that are interesting enough for Andy to come to, but then not overdo them so he gets bored of them, whilst also still making it clear to him that we can't go to all the places that he asks to go to constantly, like Disneyland, like Alton Towers, like Nottingham. It's good fun. Those of you celebrating that lockdown is over, this half and half is worse than when we were fully locked down.
He's so happy. He does like it.
Yeah, Dave's loving being somewhere different and having a little. He desperately needs a haircut though. Look at the state of him.
Especially on his bum.
Yeah. Dave usually has his haircut when he goes to stay at the kennels, so he would have had a haircut when we went to Disney in May, and he'd be due another one coming up pretty soon when we got stuck into summer antics. But with nothing like that on the horizon, we're gonna have to find someone to cut his hair, because it must be so hot, and he looks twice the size of what he normally does. Dave, show us how hairy you are. Very hairy dog. In those little pockets of space we get between work, and looking after Andy. Me and Anna have been playing a lot of The Last of Us 2, walking around these woods. I'm constantly on alert that I'm gonna have to pull my bow out at any moment and deal with some infected, especially with signs like this knocking around the place, making it look all abandoned. And that is that. Seemingly no sooner have we arrived that it's time to leave.
Oh.
I know this has been a very short video, but it's also been a very short trip. But
That's all we do.
the only reason she's here, she wants her phone out of my pocket.
Oh.
Goodness me. But yeah, it got Andy out. He didn't want to be out. He didn't really want to be filmed either, which is why we didn't do it like that. So
What is that?
it's better than just being at home the whole time, but not ideally. He's struggling at the moment. The anxiety and all that kind of stuff is really starting to build up. He doesn't want to go back to school, but he doesn't want to be at home all day. He can see that as we're driving along, he can see that places are open, and he tells us they're open, they're open, they're open, making the point to us that there are places open, so we should be able to do the stuff he wants to do, even though we're telling him it's closed. It's going to be a battle getting him back to school when the time comes, because he does not want to go. He doesn't really want to do anything, he just wants back to normal, and I think the longer this goes on, the clearer it becomes. That ain't happening anytime soon, which is rubbish.
Really hot in there.
Which is my cue to go.